Viewing Week 8 in college football here at SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We're talking right now with John Ryan from JohnRyanSports.com. And John, one college game that I asked you to talk about this week is Kansas State at West Virginia. West Virginia's a 3-point home favorite, and this is, a game that a lot of people are debating. It's a very high-profile game. One of the reasons I asked you to take this is because we covered West Virginia's game against Texas Tech last week, and you very correctly predicted that Texas Tech had good value. You called for an outright win or a likely outright win. You said they had good value. You were completely right. So that's very impressive. Here, I'm just not sure what to think. West Virginia's a home favorite, 3 points, but Kansas State is a great team this year. They're one of those teams that's, ranked in the top 10, but also not necessarily overvalued at all. They're actually 4-1-1 against the spread on the year. What are your opinions on this line, if any?
I think you take Kansas State again for the same reasons we mentioned taking Texas Tech last week. You have a very powerful offensive unit that's consistent. They're not a team that's had one big game and then they come back the following week with a substandard game. This is a team that's getting better and better. And West Virginia can't stop anything.
Yeah.
Last week was mind-blowing to me. Even though I called the upset win, I didn't think it was going to be, the score that it was. Right. And I certainly will admit that. I thought it would be a much closer game with Texas Tech pulling it out. But I see the same result here. And I think the public is starting to adjust. The line is only 3. But truthfully, I think this is a pick'em game because Kansas State is the better team. And even though West Virginia has an explosive offense in their own right, I put those two offensive units even. And the big difference is the defense.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the road dog with the better defense going against a West Virginia team that hasn't stopped anybody.
All right. The difference with this
the simulator shows evidence to that end. It shows that West Virginia is going to have a horrible day on defense again, allowing better than 6.5 yards per play, which is an ugly number. And in past games since 1992, when the West Virginia Mountaineers have allowed that amount, they're 4-18 against the spread. So simply, if you watch the game, keep track of what Kansas State's doing offensively. If they're averaging more than 6.5 yards per play, the chances of them covering the spread are very, very high.
All right,
so
but
I actually wouldn't be surprised if this is another blowout.
Situationally, though, this is very different from the last game because the last game, West Virginia was off of a good win, and then they were going on the road. And, all over SBR Forum, we saw people, when that line came out, saying, how is West Virginia only a 4-point favorite? How is West Virginia only a 3-point favorite? And was sort of set up, you could see it coming, going on the road. But here it's a little bit different. Now they're, they're at home, so, but you still think that this is, that they're overrated just as much as they were last week, or in a similar fashion.
I still think they're overrated, and moreover, Texas Tech's defense isn't all that good. Mm-hmm. And West Virginia scored a whopping 14 points against them.
That is shocking, yeah.
Kansas State has struggled on many occasions defensively, and many times they've gotten away with it. Maybe they don't get away with it all the time with West Virginia, and this ends up being a high-scoring game. But I think this is going to be another situation where the Kansas State coaching staff has enough film now that they know how to prepare defensively against West Virginia and stop their offense led by Smith. So, again, I think West Virginia will sputter on offense and they'll be horrible on defense, and Kansas State should be able to get an easy win.
All right, I'm convinced Kansas State for the road cover. Thanks, John.